And bam, welcome back to Nando Talk. While the NFL draft does start tomorrow, April 27th, the first round on Thursday, the Dolphins are going to have to wait until Friday, the 28th, because we don't have a first round pick. So we'll be kicking things off in the second round with pick 51. But have no fear because we can do plenty of damage in that second round, plenty of good prospects to be looked at. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about in today's video. We're going to be discussing whether we stay at 51, whether we trade up to get a star that's sliding down the board and we say, hey, that's our guy. We got to go grab him. Whether it comes to time to pick 51 and we say, you know what? Let's trade back. Let's acquire some more draft picks. We're a little short this year. We've only got 4 picks. The second rounder, pick 51. Third rounder, pick 84. Sixth rounder, pick 197. And in the seventh round, we have 238. Unfortunately, we might want some more draft picks. Well, not unfortunately, we might get some good quality depth pieces, but it really decides what Grier is looking at, trading up, down, or standing firm. Maybe even a little magic with the Minnesota Vikings. And we'll talk about all those choices because this second round pick is by far the most important pick for the Dolphins. It is a deciding, crucial, path-setting draft pick for the Dolphins. And I'm excited to explore all the options. And on Friday, we'll see what happens. But Grier and you, we trust. So without further ado, let's get to discussing all the scenarios that the Miami Dolphins might be hitting. So, bang. Now, when it comes to trading up, I mainly mean trading up in the second round because trading up into the first round is pretty expensive. And we only have the second round pick 51 and 3 other picks this year for a grand total of 4. And it's not exactly like we should be totally selling the farm here. So do I want to make a big splashy move? Sure, it'd be fun. But unless there's a player we've truly fallen in love with, like let's say an offensive lineman who is sliding down the draft boards and we go, my God, we have to get this. He would totally shore up our line. Or we see a talent of the caliber of Bijan Robinson, who is worthy of a top 10 draft pick, but he's a running back. His value is a little bit devalued, honestly. So if he slides and McDaniel says, I need that running piece to complete my offense, hey, Grier, go for it. I trust in you guys to make that call. But barring that, let's stay a little bit more realistic. Let's not give up too much and let's trade up in the second round. Okay. Maybe whether it's the 30s, whether it's the high 40s, we'll discuss. But I could see a scenario where evening hits, boom, the night's over, round 1 ends, and hey, there's a couple of guys still on the board that we really like. And Grier starts making some calls overnight and says, bring, 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 bring. Hello? Yeah? Pick 37? Pick 34? What's it going to cost for me to get up there? And then we get a guy that we covet. Maybe I doubt Bijan Robinson falls to the second round, but who knows? Maybe that's an option over there. Again, offensive lineman, that's something that if we deem worthy of trading up for, I'm all for that. You know, offensive lineman is a position that is known for going on a run. And if 4, 5 tackles somehow start going off the board and Gersh says, I'm going to go get my guy because he's not going to be there at pick 51, so be it, Chris. You do your thing. Maybe a linebacker, Jack Campbell, that's more in the realm of the 40s. Particularly, I'm looking at you, Green Bay, with pick 43 and pick 45 in this draft class after the trade with the Jets. Hey, if Jack Campbell's on the board and we're itching for that true middle linebacker, a mean thumper, go up and make the call, man. Go get Mr. Jack Campbell on the squad. A trade up into the 40s won't cost us too much. Maybe we can play around with some future capital, some pick swaps later on in this draft class, whether it's the 3rd round, 6th round, whatever it may be. But we have a little bit less of a cost, more flexibility there than just trying to shoot up to go up to pick 15 or pick 20 or something. Let's hold our horses because at the end of the day, it's a nice draft class. There's a couple of positions that we could really be checking out. And unless we fall in love, DeJuan Jones at Ohio State, nice offensive tackle. I think for the most part, we're going to be not trading up, but either standing firm or trading down. Now, when it comes to staying put, not trading up, not trading down, but keeping at 51 seems a little boring. I know. But at the end of the day, we are a team that is competing now. And if we have that mentality of best player of need available, BPAON, then I'm all for Chris Grier taking his guy. If we see that Jack Campbell is there at 51, we say no more. We need to plug up this middle linebacker. We need a short range tackler. Bada bing, bada bang. We give Mr. Jack Campbell a defensive captain for a year to come. But I know what you're saying. Nando, what about offensive line? Sure. If Steve Avila is there at a TCU, the guard is a monster, and he has a little bit of flexibility to play center. So the 6'3", 330-pound big boy would be a wonderful addition. I think we're just going to miss him. I doubt he's going to make it to us. And honestly, if we don't take him at 51, he'll probably be gone by the Chargers pick, which I think is 52. So Steve Avila's that good. The TCU Horned Frog would be a great addition. We could slot him in at left guard, and our offensive line looks Teron Armstead, Avila, Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, and then we got Austin Jackson and Eichenberg fighting off for right tackle. Or, we still make some more moves in the draft, maybe in the third round, maybe some post-veteran cuts. We sign some guy off of free agency. Who knows? The offseason is still long, but it's honestly an awesome improvement for sure. When we're talking about other positions on the offensive line, I get it. Maybe we can draft a center because there'll be good ones like Joe Tippmann or Luke Weipler. But unless they can play guard, I'm not really feeling it. I think Connor Williams did a great job at center. He was rated highly there at least. And if it's not broken, don't fix it. If not broken, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? So we're good on that end. But tackle, I've got one, and I've got my item for the longest. Mr. Matthew Bergeron, excuse me, out of Syracuse. My guy is a mean run blocker, 6'5", 320-ish pounds. He's big and athletic. He does, his strength is the run blocking, like I just said. He's got to work on pass blocking. He's got to work on his hand placements. He's got to work on his footwork. He does get some dumb penalties sometimes, but we can clean that up, okay? Teron Armstead, whip him up into shape, fix him up. If we were to go for the Teron Armstead route, either we can play him in at right tackle, and then Eichenberg, Austin Jackson fight for the left guard spot, and Matthew Bergeron learns from Teron Armstead. They become this premier tackle duo, and wow, Tua has a fixed offensive line. It's golden, and I'm sure it's easy for Austin Jackson and Eichenberg to kick into guard. That's fine. But if Bergeron even needs to kick into guard because he just can't handle the tackle spot, same situation as I talked with Steve Avila. We're still looking nice and pretty and improved offensive line. As much as I want to go for a linebacker like Campbell as tight end, which we're going to talk about in a second, I really do think offensive line is the route to go with. Grier's had hit or misses with his second round offensive lineman, a hit in Robert Hunt. A little too early to tell Mike Eichenberg, although he is 25, so we'll see how much he can still develop. But hey, he's entering year 3, so we've got the faith for him still. But it never hurts to add some more competition at one of the most important positions in football, especially with the fact that we lost 3 quarterbacks to injury at various points in the season last year. Let's get some offensive line help. But let's say that's not there, or that's not in the vision, or that we won in the 3rd round or the 4th round, or there's later guys in the 6th round, Juice Scruggs, Penn State. If we get you center, guard, whatever you may be playing, interior offensive lineman for the Dolphins, I'm looking at that, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. But I got excited for a second. There's still other tackle options. Cody Mach, he's a grinder. Okay. We've all heard the story by now. North Dakota State, missing the 2 front teeth, former tight end, walk-on, turned offensive lineman, bulked up 80 pounds. He's 300-ish pounds now. He is a great run blocker. Needs to get a little bit better in the pass blocking. He's got to bulk up a bit. But hey, my guy is still a great player, great work ethic, and I would love him just for the story, just for the look, the appeal. Cody Mach, I like your style, man. You'd be a nice fit in the Miami Dolphins. And with that work ethic, I know we could put you to great, great work. So let's grind, my friend. But that might be a little too high. That's might be a little bit more of a trade down option unless we truly love him. Again, if you love a player, there's no such thing as a reach. And then the other tackle options are more of, let's look at them in the 3rd round. Guys like Jalen Duncan, maybe Blake Freeland. Enough quality caliber players there that we might say, hey, let's pass on offensive line for right now and focus on tight end. And tight end is a very deep, very talented class, honestly, this year. So we might still be looking at tight end later in the draft class instead of this early. But I know some people want to hear about it. So tight end, man. Tight end. What will the Dolphins do? We're definitely going to miss out on the top end talent like Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame and Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. But there's still hope if you're a tight end truther. If you think that, hey, I think Durham Smythe is all right. He's okay. But if you want more, if you dream of bigger. We can still have faith for that. We can still get Luke Musgrave out of Oregon State, Sam Laporte out of Iowa, or the beast himself, Darnell Washington, with this 6'7", 270-pound frame. I don't think we should get tight end in the second round. I think it might be a little too early, especially with the depth in this class. But if we are going to get one, the most fun toy is obviously Darnell Washington. Like I said, 6'7", 270. These guys don't grow on trees. This man is a tree himself. He is an absolute monster, a unit, and I would love to see him go to work in this little Dolphins offense. Now, he does have to improve his route running, but with that size, I can hope he'd be a red zone weapon. And at the very least, his blocking skills are already day one ready. He's got the frame, the size, and honestly, the physicality is very apparent when you just watch him play. So let's go. Tight ends do have a bit of a transition curve in the NFL. It's probably the hardest position on offense to transition from college to pro. So that's why I'm not too big of a fan of getting tight end early. I think we've seen in the past classes, they've not been the most successful. And we'll throw up the little graphic here. It speaks for itself. Sorry, guys. There's some fine players, but usually the top tight ends taken don't really pan out that well. Some later guys do, though. So I'll be looking at you guys, but Sam Laporta is more of an all-around guy. Maybe you might be looking at him as well. Luke Musgrave is definitely a nice talent as well. Just been banged up a bit, which is why he would be sliding a tad. But hey, there is less risk. Still good upside guys like Zach Kuntz, like Luke Schoonmaker from Michigan. And if you're going even a little later, Will Mallory out of and, Brendan Strange out of Penn State. Hey, we've been looking at our Penn State guys, first in Juice Scruggs, now Brendan Strange. We might be looking at them later on, guys, so keep an eye out for them. But tight end, assuredly, a little bit maybe less risk later on in the draft. Now, all this being said, we've talked about the players that we might get at 51. We've talked about guys we would trade up for or the scenarios it would take for the Dolphins to trade up. But what if we get to pick 51 and Grier goes, I'm not feeling anyone on the board, or I'm feeling so many people that I'm confident I can slide back 4 or 5 slots and pick up a fourth round or fifth round pick that we currently don't have, or pick up a extra third or a sixth, or swap up and get those picks a little bit higher priority. Who knows? My point is, I'm not afraid of a trade down, especially in a draft class that, again, is not the biggest top heavy, that there is good depth to be had in the second round and later in this draft class in general. So if we're going to get some extra picks, I'm all for it. As long as we're not trading out of the second round. I still want a second round pick. I still want a piece of that pie. Still want one of those top 60 players in this draft class. So we'll see what trade offers the Dolphins really get handed, but I'm eyeing some extra draft picks, honestly. It'd be fun to be able to play with a fourth rounder, snipe some studs later on, really fill out this roster, a roster that at times seemed such talent. And then a couple injuries here and there, and it was just left scratching my head at what happened. I'd love a little bit more depth there. But we can get a very interesting trade down situation. What if we trade with the Minnesota Vikings? A little second round swap-a-rooney. We get their second rounder. So we trade down, they trade up. Maybe we might have to do a little bit more compensation with draft picks, maybe some, I don't think any players or anything, but they'll be giving us a player, Dalvin Cook. All right. If the Miami Dolphins did a second round trade swap with the Minnesota Vikings and we got Dalvin Cook and they got a better second round pick, maybe we offer them a little bit more compensation in draft picks, I'd be over the moon, especially if we still kept our second rounder, because then we fixed our running back spot and we are still given a whole lot more flexibility on what to do in the rest of this draft class. Now, we would obviously have to restructure Cook's contract, but you can't tell me that the Dolphins would not be so much better. I'm all here for it. Those are the kind of trade downs that I'd be very excited to see. So, hey, maybe we send him a Benogany, free up some cap space. Brian Flores, you get your guy back. Who knows, baby? Who knows? I do know, though, that I'm trusting Grier for this draft class right now, man. No matter what, whoever the Dolphins choose, whatever they do with pick 51, whether it's staying there, whether it's trading up or trading down, this pick will determine how the rest of this class shapes out. Okay, if we go offense first, maybe there's pressure to go defense with that third round pick. If we go defense, maybe vice versa. McDaniel says, now it's my turn to get a toy, and he demands a little third-round pick love. It's all going to be very interesting. And on Friday, we get to see the Dolphins pick a second round and the third round. Maybe we can get more picks. Maybe we start shopping guys. Who knows? I might even have to be releasing a video on Thursday because we might have traded into the first round, and I'll have to recap that. For all intents and purposes, guys, this is what I believe this first pick in the Dolphins is going to be done with. Pick 51 has a whole lot of options. What do you guys think is going to be the most likely scenario? Let me know in the comments below what you want the Dolphins to do with the second round pick. What do you guys want us to see to do in the draft in general, honestly? But thank you for enjoying Nando Talk. It has been an absolute pleasure, guys. I'll be releasing a tight end video and I think an offensive line video because now I got a little hype, little options about the Miami Dolphins might choose. And honestly, they'll be ranked so football fans in general can kind of enjoy the video too. But thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the tinfoil hat talks, the little points in general. And enjoy the draft, guys. Stay safe. Thanks for enjoying. And remember, fins up, chins up. And I'll see you soon. Thanks.